Hello everyone, today I want to talk about the state of League. What do I think about the new changes, what I like, what I dislike. You can treat this video kinda like a podcast. There will be some arena gameplay in the background, but it's not relevant to the video. So, first thing first, let's start with the positives. I like the new items. Almost all of them are pretty nice in my opinion, and having more item variety is really nice. On top of that, some of them can help with my off-meta builds, and I just like having them. Not all of them are nice. I don't like a couple, but I I talked about them in detail in another video, so I don't want to go very deep into it. Then we have the removal of Atakan. I love this change. I hated Atakan. I think it's an extra objective for the sake of an extra objective. It's also really strong. To the point, at some point I know having Atakan was a higher win rate than taking Baron, which is insane. And I just don't think it should be in the game. It just puts way too much pressure on the jungler and a couple of his teammates to secure Atakan on top of the normal objectives. It has a buff that is honestly kinda bullshit. I never liked the buff from it. It's a cool idea in theory, but slowing people down is atrocious, and it also does a decent chunk of damage. And last positive thing that I'm happy about is the removal of the it's the removal of upgraded boots. The 3 quests you had to do for upgraded boots was making the game so snowbally for like no reason. You would have your teammates randomly go, feed the first kill, top laner dies 1v1, and suddenly you lost half of the boots. And especially if either the jungler or the top was doing particularly bad, they could single-handedly lose you the runes. Bot and mid could too, but more rare. And the upgraded boots are like very important, they are really good. However, this is where the positives end, and where the long list of negatives begins. First thing first, since we already talked slightly about snowballing, let's start with that. The game is so much snowbally than before. I am pretty certain that they straight up removed the catch-up gold. A while back you would have extra gold if your team was very behind every second, which I'm pretty sure was straight up removed, with no mention of it. Getting your role quest early matters a lot most of the time as well. Like, I cannot begin to tell you how many times I've seen like a mid laner with 3 or 4 kills early getting role quest, and then suddenly being way harder to kill and starting to roam and murder everybody. Or even worse, a top laner who got role quest very early, and by the time I'm level 16 or 17, he's already 20. On top of that, a decent chunk of the new items are actually good for snowballing. There are multiple win more items, especially Bastion Breaker is here, but there are a bunch of others too. I could talk more about snowballing, but I think I've made my point. And now, Swift play. Swift play, Swift play, Swift play. I used to play almost exclusively Swift play because I don't have an infinite amount of time, and most of the off-meta builds work a bit better in Swift play than in draft. And these new changes, let's just say that these new changes are horrible. Like, Swift play was massacred. I'm hesitating to even call this new game mode Swift play because old Swift play was League, but a bit faster and with a mechanic to destroy automatically turrets at the end. New Swift Play is probably closer to Brawl. Like, you start at level 3, you start with extra gold similar to modes like Earth. And the Elder Dragon spawns at the 15-minute mark or so. The Elder Dragon. You don't have time to do anything in 15 minutes. You don't even get more gold than before, so you will very rarely pass 3 or 4 items, because I'm pretty sure it gives just as much gold as old Swiftplay did. With that being said, you are not gonna be seeing me play Swiftplay anytime soon, maybe other than like one special video where I specifically play only Swiftplay. And I'm gonna have to figure out some new builds. Now for the matchmaking. Matchmaking is atrocious. It's not just me, I saw a lot of people complain about matchmaking. Matchmaking nowadays goes kinda like this. I load into a game, realize I'm into emeralds, which I could probably beat if I was on my main, but I'm not on my main. I am playing Crit Blitzcrank mid, and I'm dying horribly. Purely because I got into an emerald. If I would have gotten in somebody of my skill level, I would have probably won or at least went equal. That is one part of it. The second is the smurfing. I run into so many smurfs, to the point I am looking every single game to check if people are smurfs or not, because I just kept running into them. As I mentioned in the previous video about items as well, in 23 games, I had somewhere around 17 games where I either ran into a smurf or played into somebody way stronger. And a couple more where I played into somebody way weaker. Like, I'm sorry, but winning is not satisfying if your enemy runs into a turret and gives you 3 kills by accident. So overall, I think the matchmaking is just really bad. I don't know exactly what they did to it, but I hope they will revert it. There are not as many balance issues as I expected with this update. Something that I do notice is Aphelios being stupidly broken, because it's Aphelios. Aphelios is very strong in general if you can play him well, and all of the new items, new changes and so on help him a lot. Other than that, for the most part, I have not seen huge issues with balance. I have seen the occasional level 20 top laner that's unkillable. I've seen Naafiri being very strong for no reason. Like, Naafiri is really absurd. More specifically, I've seen level 20 Naafiri top who was genuinely unkillable. It took 4 of us. But other than stuff like that, I have not seen that many. And let's be honest, almost nobody plays either Aphelios or Naafiri, so I don't think it's the end of the world. Everything, all the champions that were at least broken or kinda broken last time are pretty much the same. Yone has a weird bug, which might be fixed by now, but it had a weird bug where if he bought Infinity Edge, he would do less damage than he was expected to do. And so the item was basically dead on him. I don't know if Yasuo had the same bug, I don't know if it got fixed by or not, I just saw it online recently and I wanted to mention it. On top of that, I feel like support just got murdered, but I'll talk about that a bit more next. Role quest. Oh boy. Role quest. So, I think the top role quest is pretty decent. I don't think it's particularly overpowered or anything. Same for the jungle and mid quest. Mid quest is potentially one of the best if you can close up the game quickly, because it's a huge instant power spike, but otherwise it's probably slightly weaker than the others. ADC quest, I don't find it to be that impactful most of the time, unless you spend even more of your game farming you just don't get that much gold out of it, and the extra item slot is basically useless if the game doesn't go to like 30 or 40 minutes. However, the support, oh boy, the support. I feel so bad for everybody trying to play support, including myself, because I don't think support is playable anymore with a damage champion. Everybody else gets a good buff, with most of them being usable in combat. The only relatively non-combat buff is the jungle one, which still gives you a bit of movement speed in the jungle even in combat, but it's not that focused on combat. However, the support gets control words, and that's it. Yes, I am aware control words are very good at a high level, and decent at a low level as well, but if I'm playing a damage dealer on a support economy, I cannot afford control words, I need to buy my dead cap. So that means that I basically don't have a quest, which is really bad. It makes playing any damage dealer feel way worse. On top of that, Swift Play was better here because it gave you more gold as a support compared to the rest of the team, unlike normals where you get even less gold. And on top of all of that, you don't even get extra gold if you're behind. So I don't see many damage supports being worth playing. Now I want to talk about what would I change. So I would definitely change the support role quest reward. I'm not denying that controllers are good, again, I know they are good, but I think support would benefit far more from getting more gold rather than having cheaper control words. Even if you keep everything else, just changing from the cheaper control words to getting more gold would make support so much better. I would honestly return matchmaking to how it was before. Sure, it wasn't perfect, but it was way better than whatever is happening right now. I would probably modify a couple of the items, especially the weak ones, to be a bit better. And honestly, I would make some changes to Hexopics because I just find it to be really boring. I would probably decrease its actual stats, make the range increase stack with every kill or something. I have not thought a lot about what I would do with it because it's a boring item, but I would change it a bit. I would bring back the extra gold when you're behind because I really think the catchback gold is a necessary mechanic to stop the game from being over in 10 minutes. At least 60 to 70% of my games I already knew the result at around 10 minutes or so. I would also probably change mid-quest slightly. I would make it slightly easier to get. Because if you end up getting mid-quest very late, the advantage is completely pointless. And it's not the easiest quest to get. Sure, you're probably gonna get it around the 10 to 15 minute mark, but getting it a couple minutes earlier would be very nice. And mid lane right now is not in a very good spot. Carrying as a mid laner is very difficult unless you're like incredibly fed. All you have is that one huge burst of power when you get upgraded boost, and that's about it. Either that, or I would make it also give a little bit of gold. I don't know, 200 gold, 300 gold, so you can buy the boots easier. I would also change the plating system a bit. I'm not a fan of how the new plates work, and the crystal accumulation and everything. I would honestly return to the old turrets. Like, the new turrets are so damn fragile for the first few plates, but taking more than 2 plates at once is nearly impossible, because they get so much more tankiness compared to the old one. I don't know the numbers, but given the fact that the new turrets have less health for those plates, and it still takes longer, even if you have an advantage from crystalline overgrowth, I can confidently say that it's a lot tankier. Other than that, obviously I would return Swift Play to how it was before, because the Swift Play from before was basically perfect. It was a fully functional game mode, it gave you the almost the same league experience. This new one is just really bad, honestly. I don't know, maybe I'll change my mind about it at some point, but right now I think it's just really bad. And what last but not least, what I expect to actually change. I honestly expect Swift Play to be changed again. I don't think they're gonna leave it like this. And probably matchmaking to be reverted to how it was before, but other than that, I don't see much else changing. Maybe they bring back cashback gold, but I don't know. They seem pretty determined on the changes to actually remain, so I doubt they're gonna do more than maybe change Swift Play back again. With that being said, thank you all who stayed this far. Please leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. An update on the construction situation. The people that are doing construction work here have started tearing down some walls. I don't know exactly where, but I saw them with like 30 sacks of concrete from the walls. I doubt it's gonna end anytime soon, but they do seem to take breaks every now and then, so I should be able to post mostly the same. If a video doesn't end up being posted when I should be posting a video, that's probably why.